Can you just talk about how your life has changed as being a business owner as opposed to just an employee?
Talking to people I respect about potentially buying Outback, I received a lot of warnings about the stress that comes with it, the challenges that comes with it, and I appreciate the feedback and measured it appropriately. But being at it for a few years, I was pleasantly surprised. Another thing with Outback is that shortly after we got here, we realized that there was a chance that this company could have liquidated. They were probably a few years down the road from that fate. So it was very satisfying that to realize that we're saving that a great company that has an awesome team. And then Nick and Four Pillars did a great job of kind of preparing us for what it would look like to first purchase the company, and then what the that really laid out a great roadmap of what to expect the next 3 to 5 years. So we definitely didn't feel like we were going into it blind. We knew what challenges to expect. From my perspective, this was a smooth transition and change life. So before we jumped into the opportunity here at Outback with Four Pillars, I was working for a company that was fairly started out fairly small as what we would say a mom and pop shop. Had about 40, 50 employees and blew up to 200 over the course of a few years. Fortunately, the owners were very intent on preserving the kind of family team environment. So the employees, they deeply cared on what the employees thought. We elicited a lot of feedback, try to improve the working conditions. You know, we we all thought worked very well for a common goal of making the company as much money as we could, and really preserving that team environment. Um, Quite a few years later, a large private equity corporation bought out the company I was working with, and that's when things started to shift. I think at one point in time, I had 50, 60 directs in our team, and I started realizing once the bigger company moved in, they were on the East Coast. Our interaction with our daily interaction with the corporation was fairly limited. But we really a lot of the managers really felt like we kind of lost control of impacting our team lives for the better. Um, so that was a tough position to be in. Oftentimes we didn't have a say. We had to pass on the information or the changes, and a lot of good employees started leaving the company. Decided they wanted to go back to more of a small environment. I didn't blame them or hold it against them. I completely understood. So that's what kind of I think started. Um, uh, so another a friend of mine and I that were both at that company started talking about maybe starting our own company. But uh, we started running the numbers of what it would cost to start from scratch and the amount of time and effort that would require, and it was pretty overwhelming. We had between the two of us had quite a bit of experience in the industry, but running a business definitely wasn't something we were too familiar with. So around that time, Nick reached out and presented Outback Manufacturing, which we had worked with Outback on quite a few projects in the past, just over the years of machining. So we were very familiar with the company. They had a good reputation in the area. And when we pulled up their website and asset list, Mark and I were ecstatic about everything they had going for them. It nearly mirrored what we would kind of be looking at buying new. Um, and then Nick and Four Pillars did a great job of um, kind of preparing us for what it would look like to first purchase the company, and then what the really laid out a great roadmap of what the what to expect the next 3 to 5 years. So we definitely didn't feel like we were going into it blind. We knew what challenges to expect. So yeah, it was really uh, from my perspective, just a smooth um, transition and change life.
Talk a little bit about, well, I don't know if this is the right order, but can you just tell me? I'm personally just curious. I mean, what do you think you would be doing right now if you didn't buy Outback and were running it?
Yeah. So if we didn't buy Outback, or if I didn't buy Outback, I I'm pretty certain I would have followed a lot of the other employees' um, path and just I found another small shop. The interesting thing was just most of the shops in the area were getting bought out by big corporations. So I think part of the incentive of buying Outback was to try to preserve what a lot of us enjoy about working at small companies. Um, so I don't think a lot of the previous owners of the shops in the valley, were just getting retirement age and get tired, and so they, unfortunately had to sell, and a lot of times the best buyers were these big conglomerates.
Before we presented the idea of buying a business, how would that have seemed as daunting as trying to start a business on your own, or more daunting, or less daunting?
Yeah, I think, before we came across the Outback opportunity or presented the opportunity, for Nick and Four Pillars, we had never considered, buying a business. For we one, didn't have a ton of capital, so we just it wasn't even a top of mind or consideration. So we had been exploring, quite a few ways to try to finance it, like maybe one machine, start with one machine, build up, and um, I think one of the things that we recognize going down that route is just the amount of years it would take to kind of get your footing, was definitely daunting. So when we came across the Outback opportunity, we felt like we were starting 10 years ahead of where we'd be if we had um, started from scratch. So yeah, it was just a perfect opportunity for us, and the way Four Pillars laid it out, it looked achievable. We were kind of shocked that it was just again because of the lack of capital we had, but um, yeah, it was great timing and great opportunity.
So maybe now like a personal one, as you think about your life and the rest of your career being the owner of Outback versus working at another small shop, how do you think that has changed, both from financial or purely work-life balance or just work enjoyment? Yeah, can you just talk about how your life has changed as being a business owner as opposed to just an employee?
Yeah. Um, since buying Outback, it's been real encouraging. A lot, I think, as I was, talking to people I respect about potentially buying Outback, I received a lot of warnings about the stress that comes with it, the challenges that comes with it, and I appreciated the feedback and measured it appropriately. But um, being at it for a few years, I was pleasantly surprised that yes, it is stressful. You've got a team of people that are dependent, and their families are um, dependent on our success. But the stress is different from the aspect that I I feel now like um, there's more control to impact their lives positively. Where before when I worked at a large corporation, had a pretty big team, I felt powerless and that just really chewed me out. I I think it was impacting the way I interacted with my wife. It was just not a good being. So the freedom that the owning a business has given me, um, with first and foremost the employees and hopefully, um, aiding and making their lives better, and then, that's just, uh, relieved a lot of the stress in my life that I've since been able to have a lot more work-life balance, try to lead by example, and, uh, definitely encourage the team here to, family first. We're gonna work hard while we're here, but we definitely hold the importance of the team relationships outside of the company as very important. Yeah, definitely the work life balance has been encouraging.
Perfect. Probably just one more question. I would just say, to anybody that is thinking about, or is anybody that feel to anybody that feels powerless in their job, that was facing the same things. I mean, give it if they were to have the support and everything that we provided you guys. I mean, how strongly would you encourage them to do this, or what would your advice be? You know, pr- if they had all the knowledge that me and Thomas provided to you guys and all the support and all that.
Yeah, so for anybody that maybe feeling powerless in their job or struggling with the direction of your employer, I would strongly encourage you to consider buying a business. Th There's a lot of, satisfaction in knowing, the positive impact that you can have on, what we deem here is just a great group of people, and it yeah, it certainly gives you the flexibility to, you know, think first of your family or outside relationships and also pass that on to the team. 'Cause it's a really satisfying endeavor, fun to, uh, keep, small businesses alive. I did one another thing with Outback is shortly after we got here, we, realized that there was a chance that this company could have liquidated. They were probably a few years down the road from that, fate. So it was very satisfying that to realize that, we're saving that a great company that had and has an awesome team. So that certainly brings a lot of satisfaction to our endeavor. Seeking the support or, getting good, people that have done this before, just really makes it a lot more smooth, and, we were very fortunate to find, 4 Pillars and Nick who have, done this before, just really streamlined the process, and there's a lot of things we didn't know going into it, but, they did a great job of prepping us for, and I think that just really allowed us to hit the ground running. Um so yeah, I encourage you to find experienced veterans in this world and learn as much as you can from them, and definitely goes a long way to making it a smoother, a successful process.
That's good. Yeah, man. I probably feel the same way as you. I mean, those guys that took over Shields. I mean, I'm never gonna have any warm feelings for those guys, but I mean, hopefully it's working out okay, not just for you and all the other folks that came to Eagle and Turk, but all the guys that spread out to all the different companies. So
Yeah. Yeah, it was actually the second time in my career it happened. I don't know if you're familiar with a company called Arm Prior, but they were Canada, and they bought another shop in Portland. And, now it's real similar. All the employees become, numbers and assets and, um, uh, they just, do their best to increase their margins by driving down labor, and it, And not that, not the money is the only solution, but I think there's, a lot in providing we're big on providing flexibility and, encouraging, don't work your fingers to the bone, like, come in, work hard, have fun, um, and then, take care of your family. So, yeah, we're
Yeah, but I mean, it's totally different though. I mean, I hear what you're saying that all they care about is profits, but it's like some messed up way to think about profits because I mean
yeah.
they were driving customers away, they were driving employees away. Like you can't have more profits if you do all those
Well,
things.
yeah, and that's the aspect I think somebody that doesn't come from manufacturing or machining in particular is I don't they didn't understand how hard it is, and how important it is to retain your skill base. Uh, so that's probably from a, just from to your point, from a profit standpoint, they were shooting themselves in the foot by chasing off all these highly skilled, guys, and they took it 20 years for them to get to that point, and you're just throwing it out the door. Um, so yeah, no, I think it's definitely, um, you could look at it from purely a profit standpoint or a people standpoint, and it's the win-win our route.